Welcome to Vertical Football. Yeah, and this is the blue box. Yeah, so guys, it's coming out on a Monday. Yeah, it's a beautiful Monday due to some technical reasons. This has to come out today. Yeah, so in this particular one, like you all know, we always want to talk about Chelsea. Yeah, but it's going to be like a very different kind of content this time around. So this one it's all about talking about the ideology at Chelsea. Yes, since the departure of Enzo Maresca and the coming in of Liam Rosenior, I think we have seen the ideology behind this team or behind the way we want to play change, and it's very obvious for people who pay attention. Yeah, so the two main ideology in football has always been, if you are not an idealist, you will be a pragmatist. Yeah, those are the two. I know there are other ideologies around playing football, but those are the two main one: idealism and pragmatism. And we want to see where Chelsea falls into, or who Liam Rosenior is, because he's the one who dictates what the ideology is going to be. So let's just look at these two ideology outside of Liam Rosenior. So let's look at idealism in itself. Yeah. So what is idealism? So for me, I think the best way to like define idealism is the fact that an idealist is a person who is so obsessed with process, who is obsessed with their style, who is obsessed with identity. Yeah, maybe obsession is not the best word to use, but somebody who likes their style, somebody who is so moved by identity and process. I feel like that's who an idealist is. So when you want to know who an idealist is a person who feels like, okay, now everybody's playing in 4-4-2 and we are playing in this particular way. I think I want to tweak this 4-4-2 into something different. I want it to make it into instead of us having 4 at the back, 4 in the middle and 2 up front, I want to turn into a 4-2-4 where we just have 2 midfielder and then we have something like wing fielders, like someone like Tobolos will say. Yeah, have somebody like wing fielders instead of midfielders who can go in and join the other 2 up front, play in the wing, but still act like a midfielder. So this is an idealist, and they look at that way. When they go into the game, they are not necessarily concerned about what is going on. They are majorly concerned about this thing that we are trying out. How is it working? How is this guy coping with that place that we are playing him? How is this idea of a wing fielder coming out? Is this something that is interesting? Is he having effect? They are so much engrossed in the process. That is the mind of an idealist. They are about process. They are about identity. They are about style. Yeah. So who is a pragmatist? I think a pragmatist is just very simple. A pragmatist is a person who is all about results. Oh, we want to go and play this match. I want to win. And that is the most important message that I am sending out there. I want to win. Oh, it is going to take me in this particular match to defend to win. Let's go and defend. Oh, people don't like how we are setting up in just defending. That does not make sense. He is not necessarily concerned. What he wants is, at the end of 90 minutes, who won the match? The pragmatist won the match. A pragmatist is very, very happy. Yeah. So that's like the mental construct of these two ideas. For an idealist, it's a person who is obsessed with style, control, identity. The other person is concerned about just getting results. And we have seen examples in football. Example of an idealist, perfect one, is in the person of Pep Guardiola. Yeah, he refines styles. He came up with idea, used this 4-3-3 to beat a 4-4-2, started using inverted wing back, started using inverted winger, started using even a defender to go and play as a midfielder. Like those things would have happened as football evolved, but it's this guy who, I stick with this plan and there is nothing that is going to happen. And I believe if you just give me the time and process, like I mentioned earlier, there are people who like process. If you give me the time and allow me go through all this process, you will eventually enjoy it. And we saw what it become. Like there are loads of them, even Arteta, but I think we don't want to go too much about Arteta. He's switching into something else entirely. But we have seen coaches come out like that, and Guardiola is just the perfect example of who an idealist is. So if we want to talk about pragmatists, I think the perfect one for pragmatism, in my own book, is what's this Atletico manager? I've forgotten his name. Diego Simeone. I think Jose Mourinho too is that guy who everybody wants to call and say all of these things. But you see Simeone and you're like, this guy just wants to win. He does not necessarily care. If you like, be playing, have 9 players on the pitch. Simeone is that guy who can say, I will still make sure I defend because I know that you have 2 attackers who can score maybe out of a cross or out of anything. I will still make sure my defense is going out right. Then I will find a way to hit you on counter. He's just that guy who is, I don't want to take any risk of not winning this match. I just want to win at all costs. That is the mind of a pragmatist. They just, if it is an idealist, now this guy has 1 red card or 2 red cards. All right, so let me invert my fullback. Let me bring this guy from this place. Let me put him here. Let me do this. It's all about idea. It's all about process. But for an idealist, they are blocked to every other thing. They just want to win. But as much as we are saying this, I just want to put a disclaimer out there. I think from all my research and all my reviews about idealism and pragmatism, there is no person who is 100% an idealist or 100% a pragmatist, in the sense that as much as you have a style, your style is still a subject to winning. Like, your baseline is all about winning. You have a style on it. So on the other side, in pragmatism, as much as you want to win, you still need a style to go and win. And like, this style can be, we want to play possession-based football. We want to be high flying. When they score us 1, even if it is in the 2nd minute, we don't care anymore. I want you to stand up. I want you to go out and go and play. So it's just a blend, but one part of the idea will take the dominant possession. Maybe you will be 90% an idealist and 10% pragmatist, or you will be 90% a pragmatist and 10% an idealist. So let's see how they see football. We'll look at it in 3 different angles. The first part, we'll look at their goal, that's their aim. We'll look at possession, what possession as a tool means to them, and we'll look at tactics. So the first thing we have touched about this already. I think, what's the goal of a pragmatist? The goal of a pragmatist is result driven. He just wants to win. He just wants to get that 3 points. That is it, and that is it for him. And the other person in the idealist is they care much about their style. As much as they want to win, that is not the top. That is not at the top of the chain. What is at the top of the chain is, how did you play? Did you play in the way that I want you to play? And we have seen scenarios like that. Just to digress a little bit, you look at João Cancelo and Guardiola. João Cancelo, I think in his mind he thinks more like a pragmatist, because he just wants to get things done. So he's getting a part of the game done, but the way he's getting a part of the game done is affecting the way Guardiola wants to play. And Guardiola just cannot have that. I want you to play in this certain way. You cannot be going out of the way to do that. And we even had the same person in Jack Grealish, talking about an idealist here. He's that guy who he wants to express himself. He wants to play football. He does not want to play under a specific instruction or a specific control. So he always had issues with Guardiola. Like, he struggled to fit into that idea. Like, you need to box me in this certain instruction for me to play. So like, the idea is my style, my process, my identity. That is important for me, and that is my goal. And another thing about the possession, for a pragmatist, a possession is just mainly a tool. Yeah. So if I get the ball, can it lead me to goal? Yes, I'm happy to have it. If it can lead me to goal, I'm very, very happy to have it. But for an idealist, why did we get the ball? I get the ball because I want to use it to exhibit my style. When I don't have the ball, how do people know how I want to play? How do people know that my football is positional? How do people know that my football is possession based? So when they use possession as a way to express their identity, a way to express their style. But for a pragmatist, it is more like it is a tool to get to the result, which is the result is to win. And when they feel like we having the ball will not necessarily give us the goal, they are happy to let you have the ball, let you come outside, and they eat you on counter. So they can have the ball 20% of the time, but in as much as that 20% of the time they have the ball, it can lead them to go. They are happy to allow you have it for the remaining 80 minutes. That is the mindset of a pragmatist. And the last part, the tactics. I think for a pragmatist, it's just very obvious that the tactics of a pragmatist coach, it changes depending on the opponents they are playing. So you come into a match, you are playing against a pragmatic like Sean Dyche. When he's going to play some teams, you just know he's going to play in a 4-4-2 or he's going to play in a 4-3-3, like something like that. You know that, oh, this is how this guy is going to play. But when it gets to some particular team, he does not care playing 5 at the back. Sometimes as the game goes on, he does not mind having 6 at the back. But when you play an idealist is more of, my style must still show. I will cause you to do otherwise. Like, it is me that will bring my style. You are the one that will need to adapt to my style. A pragmatist will look at what the other person is doing and try to adapt into what they are doing. But an idealist is, I will impose my style on this game. You are the one that will have to change. So that is the mindset of these two different ideas. Now let's look at the positive parts and the negative part. So for the positive part for the idealist is very obvious. They have clear identity. They know how they want to play. When you are watching their match and you're saying something else, before you even see it, they know that this is not the way we want to play. So they are very, very clear on the way they want to play, and every match is an avenue to create and reinforce that identity in the mind of the coach, in the mind of the players, and in the mind of the fans. And another thing is, he helps the player to develop technically. Yeah, you see these players and you're like, oh, because of this system, that's why these guys are as good as this. Like you look at them and you know, if you take this guy out of this place and you put him into this other environment, this guy will struggle. But whenever you keep this guy in this environment, you will play like a genius. And that's what an idealist environment does to players. It helps them to develop some technical skills that they wouldn't have developed if they were in a different environment. And let's look at the positives for pragmatists. I think number one positivity for pragmatism is efficiency. Yeah, like they get results. There's nothing anybody can say about that. If you look at people like Jose Mourinho, you look at people like like Simeone, you look at Sean Dyche. When they set their mind to go, this is what we want to go and do, that is what they will go and do. And they will force you to do something else till you make sure that you help them get their results, or they eventually go on to get their own results. So they are results driven. So out of that mindset, efficiency shows up. We want to go and win this match. Our winning this match is all about 1-0 is a win. 2-0 is a win. We don't care how we play. Let's go there. And it just leads to another part is they become a mentality monster. Like they are going to be very tough in the mind. It becomes very hard for you to break them mentally. Anybody who plays in the environment of an idealist is just like, they are going to be like a crazy man. They are going to be like a carpenter that sees that the whole world is a nail. They just want to go on and keep knocking and knocking and knocking. So they become mentality monster. Now let's look at the downside of these two ideas. I think the first one is, for the idealist, is stiffness and stubbornness. That is like the base points that you find out in all of them. So when the opponent comes out and they catch what they are doing, they tend to like be so stiff because that is what they have. Their identity is so important to them that they don't believe that you should be able to come out and catch what I am doing. When you come out and catch what I am doing, I want to tweak this thing in a way, but at the same time still retain that my identity. Looking at this season, you look at Pep Guardiola. We saw it in the way Pep Guardiola went about this thing, in the sense that at one point in this season, he started playing transition football. You want to like, oh, Is this guy shifting from being an idealist to a pragmatist? No. But you know that as much as he's still, if you want to play transition football, that means you have to surrender the ball. Let the opponents come and play you, then you eat them out on counter. But he still wants to hold the ball, but hold the ball, take it and beat you. Chiefs try and find something to do. But when he sees that that is not working, he still try to maintain the ball. When he gets the ball at his own back, unlike the Guardiola that we used to know, when he gets the ball, he tries to like recycle it, allow you go into your post, then it comes out to play. But we saw that in those moments, he started, he increased the level, and you get the ball. Instead of him, he gets the ball in his own maybe final third or middle phase of the pitch. Now we are opened. Is jumping into transition phase. So they are more about their style. As much as they will change, stubbornness is around it. There is stiffness. This is the way I want to play. There is nothing you can tell me about it. This is the way I am going to play. And we have seen that in even Amorim at Manchester United. Though there are circumstances to his own, but you saw the stiffness. He has an identity. You cannot come from somewhere and tell him, you have to change to do this. They don't buy into stuffs like that. So that's one of the negative part and the most prominent, or the most, I don't know the right English to use, but I just think that's like the top negative effect that an idealist always have. And let's look at it for the pragmatist. I think the pragmatist, the one that you will see the most is boring football. Yeah, very, very boring football, because they don't care about the style of play. They don't necessarily care about the identity. What they care about is to win. So when they can get the win, that is all that is so important for them. And so you see, they play dirty football. They play football that is not, people call it, in Nigeria, we call it Aram football. It's not interesting to watch. You just know that these guys are winning, but the football just looks messed up. You don't enjoy it. Yeah. And another thing about the pragmatist idea is they tend to lack options. Yeah, because they are playing with mentality. They are playing with their mindset. When the mindset is weak, they tend to like be set up for defeat, because they don't necessarily have the ideas in their box. What they have is the mindset. So whenever the mindset is weak, they are set up for defeat. Now let's come back. Now we have spoken about this thing in general. Now let's come back to the Chelsea's perspective. Let's look at our coach, Liam Rosenior. Looking at what you have seen in this guy and the way we have played in our first 5 matches, and looking at all of the things that I have spoken about, in which box can you fix this guy? Is he an idealist, or is he a pragmatist? Let's just take a little bit of time. Maybe you can pause the video and answer this question. What box did you think this guy fits into perfectly? Yeah. So welcome back. I know you have paused the video and thought about this thing. So for me, since I paused the video and talked about, like, walk myself through this thing, I think it does not necessarily fit into any of these box. I think he fits into a new school of thought. Yeah. And we have heard this school of thought flying around in recent times. They were using it for, what's it called? Sir Alex Ferguson at one point. For me, I think he fits perfectly into this new school of thought. And what's this new school of thought? I think is the pragmatic idealist. Yeah, so a pragmatic idealist is a person who has a style, is a person who has an identity, but still want to win at all costs. So the idea is, let's look at Rosenior as the perfect example, as the person that we are using for this blueprint now. Is he loves possession. He loves possession so much. He wants to invert one of his, He wants to invert one of his fullbacks. He wants to take charge of the ball. He wants to make sure he's pushing you into your own box. He wants to involve his backline and the goalkeeper in his play. Like, that's an idea. That's the way he wants to play. That's the identity that he wants everybody to see. And that is great. You can win games with that. because if you are playing from the back and you're involving your goalkeeper, you are outnumbering the attacking phase of the place. So if you can manipulate that place, it becomes very easy for you to get into the middle phase and also into the final third. Because if you commit a whole lot of players up front and the opponent buys into it, they will commit so much. And because you have numerical advantage, you can manipulate and get out of there, and then you isolate them up front and go and do something. That is an idea. But at the same time, this guy is now of the opinion that at all costs, I still want to win. So he falls into the middle part of that box. It's not necessarily a dominant part of an idealist or a dominant part of a pragmatist. So we call them a pragmatist, a pragmatic idealist. Yeah, so in the sense, he has an idea, but he's going to do anything to win. And you look at that in the Brentford match and in the Crystal Palace match. Yeah, he's not possession. He's not a possession extremist. He's happy to give you the ball when it's for the greater good of his own team. Look at the Crystal Palace match, that goal that Estevao scored. It's so funny that until he said it, I didn't even notice it. That when Crystal Palace was playing the ball, we had 10 players at the back of the ball. The only person that was behind the ball was Estevao. When Crystal Palace still had the ball, like when it was on the left-hand side up there, before we stole that ball, 10 players were behind the ball. And idealists will not necessarily work like that. They will still want to still maintain that position, still maintain the width, still make sure that you're pinning them back there. There is still an idea that must be intact, that people must see. But with this guy, it's more like, no, things are not going well at the back. These people are mounting pressure on us because it's very obvious that they had the upper hand before that goal. Like they were more in possession. They were doing things with the ball more than we were. And 10 players behind the back, and he came out, and that's not even just the main point. The main point that cements the whole thing that this guy is a pragmatist idealist is the sense that when he came out in his press conference, he said, we had 11 players behind the ball. That is the way I want my players to be. I am happy that I see my players 11 behind the ball. Like, that is mad in the mind, because he helps you to defend well. And look at that breakout. The ball just came, collect it, and boom. So it's more like if it was what's it called, Enzo Maresca, and I don't like to compare. I don't know why maybe because I've done so much analysis. So I'm trying to I saw this in this era. I didn't see this in this era. So I'm trying to connect the whole thing together. If it was under Enzo Maresca, he would come out and speak about it as much as we want to play, the situation required us to do it, but I don't think that is the way we want to do it. But this one is coming out to let you know, if that is what the game requires, I am happy to make sure that that's what we are doing. That is a pragmatic mindset. So in as much as he has a way that he wants to play, he's still letting you know that if the situation requires this, I am going to make sure that that is what is being done. So I think he cements perfectly. He's a guy who is result driven. He has a style, but he's not holding them differently. He's mixing them together to make sure that as much as his style is something that he wants to impose, he wants to make sure that he's getting results at all costs. Yeah, so guys, this is just my little thoughts after speaking about pragmatism and idealism in general. This is the box in which I can fit Liam Rosenior into. So I just want to have your own thought about this thing. This is just, he occurred to me. I think he has been showing up since the Brentford match here. Since I've been watching, I'm like, this guy is doing it. You look at the Brentford match, at some point we were packing the box. We gave them so much respect. But in turn, what did we get? We got the result. So it's just like putting 2 and 3 together. Look at the Crystal Palace match. At some point, we were players behind the ball. But in turn, what did we get? We get the result. So I just want to put it out there to you guys. What are your thoughts? Do you think this is a sustainable way to go about things? Are you happy with the way this thing is going? Because now that we have it defined, do you think it is a way to go? What are the loop side? What are the bad sides that you see to these things? Yeah. I feel like that's what I would like you guys to answer in the comment section. Let's discuss about it. Let's have a chat about it. But for me, to just wrap it up with this, I think The defect of this kind of mindset is that when a larger part of your mind is geared towards pragmatism and it gets you results, you will tend to like want to lean towards it. It's just natural. It's in the human behavior. We naturally lean towards what works for us. So if that is working for us, what I'm just wanting to call the coach out is, do not neglect idealism. Embrace it, because they are going to get to a point where you will be burnt out. Your mindset will not be as strong as you need it to be, because you are a human being. All these kind of things will happen. So because we like I said in the earlier part of this content, the idea of pragmatism is that it lacks options. We deal with the mind most of the time. So when you get to that point where you are burnt out, if you are playing with an idealist, it will dismantle you, because you don't have a style in the back end that is deeply ingrained. I'm not saying that's what we have at this moment, but if we are leaning towards pragmatism so much and we are not making sure that we are injecting some great ideas into it and just allowing the pragmatic part of us show up this idea, when you face somebody who is an idealist, you will struggle, because they will just keep knocking you around. You will be playing with passion and morale, but they will be playing with a great sense of what they want to play like. So that's one of my fears towards this thing. As much as we are winning with it, I want us to put a blend, put it in a maybe 60-40 or a 50-50. Insert good ideas, insert working ideas, test things out, still keep the pragmatism, but test ideas out, so that when the push comes to shove, when the mentality is not at the level that you want it to be, you will still have the ideas to fall back on. So this is just my thoughts about it. So guys, what do you think about what I have said? Please put it in the comment section. Let's talk about it. This is the Chelsea's blue box. This is the blue box brought to you by Vertical Football. Till we see you some other time. Namaste.